Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Cassandra and today we're doing a back bending practice. We're going to be working our way up to wheel pose, which is a pretty intense back bend, so we'll do it slowly. Let's begin lying down on our backs. So I'm not going to be using any props today, but it's always a good idea to maybe have a block or something close by in case you need it. And then draw the knees in towards the chest. Rocking gently from side to side, massaging the lower back. Tracing some circles with the knees. Any way that's comfortable to you. People often shy away from back bends because they find that it causes discomfort in their lumbar spine, lower back, and sacrum area, which is very common. But the way we'll be doing it is focusing on the upper back a little bit more than the lower back. So hopefully you won't feel any discomfort whatsoever. Let's keep the right knee drawn in, extend the left leg out. Plant the left heel down on the ground. Straighten the leg as much as you can. Smooth, steady breaths in and out through the nose. Feel the shoulders draw down the back, the lengthen the neck. Feel free to stay here if you'd like to take this deeper. We're going to take half happy baby. Holding on to the big right toe, lifting the heel up towards the sky, stacking the ankle over the knee and keeping the right elbow to the inside of the leg. Working at drawing that right knee down towards the outside edges of the rib cage, towards the armpit a little bit. Opening up the hip flexors plays a huge role in how we do our back bends, especially in wheel pose. Let's release and switch sides. Draw the left knee in, right leg extends out. Try to straighten the right leg, pressing into that heel, stretching it away from you. Left knee squeezes in. And please stay here, or you can transition into your half happy baby on the second side. Holding onto the big toe, elbow stays to the inside of the leg. And keep that right leg nice and straight. And let's release. Bring both knees in, straighten your legs up towards the sky, and keep your palms flat on the ground. So we're going to reach the toes up, spreading them nice and wide, and we're going to lower our legs down to hover off the mat for a count of 10. See if you can keep your lower back pressing onto the mat the entire time. So lowering for 10, 9, 8, lower belly hugs in, 7, 6, 5, hold here. Press the big inner toe mounts together. Reach through the toes. Press lower back into the mat. Lowering for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hovering off the ground. Pull lower belly in. And slowly we come all the way back up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, hold, shoulders away from the ears, pull lower belly in, press into the lower back. 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the knees back in. Holding onto the backs of the thighs, let's come up into a tabletop pose. So just crossing at the ankles, bringing the knees back. Onto hands and knees. Palms are underneath the shoulders, knees are underneath the hips. Taking cat and cow. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, curl tailbone up. And then exhale, round the spine, chin to chest. So we're already starting with our back bends here, but this is very gentle. We're keeping the elbows straight, not creasing into the lower back, instead focusing on pulling the heart forward. And then exhale, we round. Take a few more, go at your own pace, just warming up the spine. Come back to your neutral tabletop pose. Step your palms a couple inches past the shoulders, curl the toes under, and take your first downward facing dog. So down dog, the feet are hip-width distance apart, palms are shoulder-width distance apart. Try to put a little bit more weight into your fingertips and knuckles so that you put less weight and pressure on the wrists. And bend your knees a lot. Doing any little movements that you need to do here that feel good. Stretching into the backs of the legs and stretching into the spine. Let's shift the weight onto our left foot. Reach your right leg up and back. Bend the right knee and open up that hip. So nothing changes in the upper body. Right shoulder is still pressing down. Lower belly is squeezing and hugging in. Neck is relaxed so the head can be heavy. Let's straighten and square the right leg and come forward into plank pose and hug your knee in towards your nose. Pull the lower belly in, round the upper back. Reach your heart forward, tap your right knee down. Exhale, bring it back in, three-legged dog. Bend the right knee, open up the hip. Straighten the right leg, drop the right foot back down on the mat. As you inhale, shift forward to plank pose, shoulders over your wrists. Heart is extending forward. Let's drop the knees down first and lower all the way down onto your belly. So we'll take 5 baby cobras. This is an excellent little exercise to do to warm up the spine. Keep the tops of your feet pressing down into the mat, spreading into the toes, tailbone reaching to the heels. Inhale, chin, chest, and your palms lift up. And then exhale, set it down. Keep the back of the neck long. Inhale, lift. Exhale, soften down. Inhale, lift up. Press the tops of the feet down. Exhale, lower. 2 more. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Last one. Inhale, rise. Exhale to lower. Press your palms down on the ground and find child's pose. So big toes are together, knees are apart. Pressing the hips to the heels. 5 breaths here. Melt the heart down. And slowly lift back up and into down dog. Curl the toes under, lift the hips. So we're switching sides. Please reach your left leg up and back. Bend the left knee and open up that hip. Keep the left shoulder pressing down. Chest is extending towards the thighs. Let's straighten and square that left leg. Bring it forward through the plank pose. Squeeze your knee in towards your nose as you round the upper back. And then look forward. Tap the knee down. Straighten the spine. Exhale, rounded back into your 3-legged dog. Open up that knee and that hip once more. Straighten the left leg and set the left foot back down. Inhale, shift forward to plank pose. Let's lower the knees down again here, all the way onto the belly. So doing it a little bit differently this time, still pointing the toes back. Make sure your palms are towards the upper ribs, underneath the shoulders. As you inhale, find baby cobra, chin, chest, and palms lift up. And then exhale to lower. Full cobra, plant your palms into the mat. Chin and chest lift up. Keep the elbows bent, shoulders away from the ears. And then draw the heart forward and down. Let's do that again. Inhale, baby cobra. Back strength only. Exhale to lower. Inhale, full cobra. Press your hands on the ground and lift. Exhale, soften into child's pose. So we'll get into the shoulders a little bit more. Come on to hands and knees. Tabletop pose. Coming into puppy pose, a little bit of a variation here. So keep your keep your hips over your knees and walk your palms forward to melt the heart down, forehead towards the mat. So if you're flexible in the lower back, your belly is going to want to drop here. Keep the lower belly engaged so the lower back stays flat. And then let's press our hands together, bend at the elbows, and reach the fingertips behind the back of the head. Deep breaths into the shoulders and triceps. Let's straighten the arms. Lift the chest back up. And let's sit back onto our heels. Opening up the chest and shoulders a little bit more. Bring your palms behind you, about shoulder width distance apart. And you're going to lift the hips so tailbone is pointing back. And just think about lifting your chest up as high as you can, straightening into the arms, and squeeze your shoulder blades behind you. Almost as if you were trying to bring your elbows to touch each other. Lift up a little higher. And let's release. Downward facing dog. Let's lift the heels. Walk your feet in between the hands to the top of the mat. Take a Ragdoll Fold. Maybe the knees need to bend quite a bit here, holding on to opposite elbows, swaying gently from side to side. Stretching out the spine, getting into the backs of the legs. Let's release the fingertips to the ground. Bend your knees a lot and slowly roll all the way up to stand. One vertebrae at a time. Head and shoulders are the last to make their way up. Standing up nice and tall. We'll start to take a few sun salutations to really warm up. Let's keep our feet hip width distance apart for this one. Inhale, reach the arms up, bring your palms to touch, and then exhale fully as you fold. Knees can bend. Halfway lift, inhale, flat back. And then exhale, plant your palms, step back to plank pose. Take a breath in here to straighten the spine. And then exhale, lower to the belly. Point the toes back for cobra. And then exhale, down dog. Inhale, right leg reaches up and back, keep it straight. And then step your right foot forward, in between the hands, warrior one. Back foot at a 45-degree angle, both arms are extending up. So bend into that right knee, pull the left shoulder and the left hip forward, pressing into your back heel. So we're working on back bends today. Let's find a little one here. Bring your hands to touch and start to shift the gaze up. So already you want to start working at not letting all of the weight sink into the lower back. Instead, try to imagine there's some kind of string in the middle of your sternum lifting and pulling you up. So this action is coming from the upper back. Still bending into your right knee. Take an inhale here. And then exhale, both palms down on the mat. Take your vinyasa. Inhale, plank. Exhale, we lower. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, down dog. Second side, left leg reaches up. Step your left foot forward. Warrior one, back foot down at a 45-degree angle. Arms extend upwards. Pull right hip, right shoulder, squaring it off to the top of the mat. Tailbone extends down. Stay here or take a mini back bend, pressing the palms and looking up. Dropping into the hips. Take an inhale here. Exhale, plant the hands. Step your left foot back, plank pose. Exhale, we lower. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, down dog. From your downward dog, please reach your right leg up towards the sky. Bend your right knee, open up that hip. Straighten the right leg, look forward past the palms, and step the right knee in between both hands. Drop the left knee down, low lunge. Arms are reaching up once more. So taking a side bend from here, please grab a hold of your left wrist with your right hand and reach your left arm up and over. Let's come all the way back up. Bending into both elbows, wrap your right arm underneath your left, binding once or twice. Eagle arms, lifting the elbows up overhead, little back bend. Release the palms to the mat, straighten your right leg, fold. Half splits. Bend into your right knee once more. Let's come into standing splits. Curl your back toes under, lift the back knee off the mat. Fingertips forward. Standing on your right leg, left leg reaches up. Let's step the left foot back. Take our full flow this time. Inhale, plank. Exhale, chaturanga, so hovering halfway. Upward dog, so deeper back bend. Chest is lifting up. Exhale, down dog. Planting the heels to the mat. Second side, left leg reaches up. Bend the left knee, open up the hip. Keep the elbows straight. Straighten the left leg, look forward. Step that left foot through. Low lunge. Arms extend upwards. So find our side bend. Hold on to your right wrist with your left hand. Right arm reaches up and over. Upper ribs are hugging in. Come all the way back up. Bend into both elbows and swing your left arm underneath your right. Eagle arms. Elbows and hands lift up to the sky. Still bending in your left knee and dropping the hips. So the more we're able to open up the hip flexors, the easier our back bends will be. Think of lifting the sternum up. Release the hands to the mat, half splits, straighten your left leg, fold. Transitioning into our standing splits, bend into your left knee. Stand tall on your left leg as the right leg extends up and back. Try to keep both legs straight. Engage the glutes and the hamstrings to lift the back leg up a little bit more. Finding our full flow. Bend into the left knee, drop the right toes down. Inhale, plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's shift forward into plank pose and lower all the way down onto your belly. So let's pad our forehead with the left forearm and draw your right heel in with your right hand. So stretching out the quads. Reach the left arm forward. We're going to take half bow and half locust. So forehead to the ground. As you inhale, start to kick your right foot in towards the right hand, and then left side body and the head lift up. Back of the neck stays long. And release. Switching sides. Right forearm underneath the forehead. Draw the left foot in. Keep the knees hip-width distance apart. Let's extend the right arm forward. Lengthen the back of the neck. Start to kick your left foot into the left hand, and then everything reaches up. Half bow, half locust. Spreading through the toes and the fingers. Find a little bit more height. And release. Let's set our forehead to the mat and interlace your fingers behind the back of your head. So we're going to keep the tops of the feet pressing down into the mat. Try to spread through the toes a lot. Elbows reaching out to the sides. As you inhale, lift the head and chest and elbows up. And then exhale, set it down. 2 more like this. Inhale, lift. Exhale, soften. Last one. Inhale, come on up. Exhale, release. Hands under the shoulders, child's pose. Downward facing dog. All right, let's come forward into plank pose. Turn onto the outside edge of your right foot and your right hand. Left arm reaches up, side plank. So if you'd like to take this a little bit further, you can float the left leg up. Taking a variation of Wild Thing, drop your left toes behind you. Reach your left arm up and over as you lift the hips and the chest up. So the goal here is to press into both feet evenly. And make your way back to plank pose. Let's switch sides. Side plank over on the left foot. Right arm is extending upwards. And then maybe the right leg floats up too. Step your right toes back behind you. Right arm reaches up and over. Lift the hips. And lift the chest, dropping the head. Back to plank pose. Find your flow. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Okay, full Wild Thing this time. Reach your right leg up and over. Bend the right knee. And then you're going to drop your right toes back behind you. Lean on your left hand. And then right arm extends up. Power up the thighs. Come back to your 3-legged dog. And let's step our right foot forward in between the hands. High lunge. Arms are lifting. Bend into your right knee. Open up the arms. Interlace your fingers behind your lower back. Roll your shoulders down and away. Take an inhale here, and then let's dive to the inside of the right thigh. Keep your chest down and just release your fingertips to the mat. Turn your back heel in at a 45-degree angle. Straighten your right leg and fold, pyramid pose. So just opening up the hamstrings, squaring off the hips and the shoulders. Feel free to bend a little bit in your right knee here. And let's take our flow, bend into your right knee, plant the hands, inhale, plank, exhale, chaturanga, inhale, up dog, exhale, down dog. Second side, left leg reaches up and back. Bend your left knee, open up that hip, and then drop your left foot back behind you. Lean on your right hand, left arm reaches up and over. We meet in our three-legged dog with the left leg reaching up and back. And then we step that left foot through. Finding our high lunge. Feet are hip-width distance apart. Arms are extending upwards. Biceps along the ears. Open up the arms so you can interlace your fingers the more unusual way, so the other thumb on top. Roll the shoulders down and away. And dive forward. Try not to let the belly rest on the thigh. Keep it lifted. Go more towards the inside of the leg. Power up the back heel. Release fingertips to the mat. Bring your back foot in a little bit. Turn it at a 45-degree angle. Straighten your left leg and fold. Pyramid pose. Let's bend into the left knee. Take your flow, inhale, plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And child's pose. Let's walk the hands in. Bring your legs out in front of you. So legs are facing forward. Toes are lifting up towards the sky. Sorry, little hair clip. Stand up nice and tall, and let's bring our right knee in towards the chest, and then bring that right knee down so the foot is to the inside of the leg. You're still facing towards your left leg. Inhale, extend the arms up, and then fold down. Try not to use too much force here. Let gravity do the work for you. Walk the palms back in, lift the chest. So from here, you're gonna plant your right hand behind you. You're gonna press into both legs to lift the hips up and over. Left arm reaches up. Let's set the hips back down. Bring both knees in towards the chest. Lean onto the sits bones. Find boat pose. Arms extending forward. You can keep your knees bent here if this is uncomfortable for the lower back or for the hip flexors. We just want to connect to the core a little bit. It'll make our peak pose a lot easier. And let's release. This time, right leg is forward. Left foot goes to the inside of the right thigh. Sit up nice and tall, facing towards your right leg. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, dive forward. Let's come on up. So this time, left hand goes behind you, right arm reaches up and over, and the hips lift up as you press into both feet. And get all four corners of your right foot pressing down on the mat here. Only looking back if it feels okay for the neck. Set the hips back down, boat pose once more. Draw the knees in towards the chest, extend the legs. Lower belly hugs in, collarbones and chest lift up. Cross at the ankles. I'm just going to readjust myself here. So shifting forward, make sure you have space, and let's lower all the way down onto our back. So now we're moving in towards our peak pose. Let's do 3 more poses before we do this. So knees are bent, feet are flat on the mat. You'll want to make sure your feet are hip width distance apart, and if you reach back with your fingertips, you want to be able to touch the heels. So lower back, flat down on the mat, palms are facing up. Start to press into all four corners of both feet as you curl tailbone up, and then lift the hips, lower back and mid back off the mat. Bridge pose. Notice if the knees are slaying out to the sides, keep them drawing in. Shoulders and neck are relaxed. Only using lower body and core strength here. Pressing into both feet to lift the hips up a little higher. And release all the way back down. So we're going to do that again. This time we're going to interlace our fingers. So press the feet into the mat, curl tailbone up, lift the hips, and then roll your shoulders underneath you a little bit so that you can interlace your fingers behind the lower back. And then you can use your hands and your arms to press into the ground to lift the hips a little higher. Let's shift the weight onto our left foot and extend the right leg up. Powering up the glutes and the back body. Really important for when we're doing wheel pose. Lifting up. And release the right foot down, switch sides. On your right leg, left leg extends up. Shoulders are pressing away from the ears. And release the left foot down. Bring your arms out to the sides and lower. So before we take wheel pose, just widen the feet, let the knees fall in towards each other. Breathe into the lower back. So we've opened up our shoulders. We've strengthened our core. We opened up the hip flexors, strengthened the back body. Those are pretty much all the elements that you need for a really strong and solid wheel pose. So if you're ready, let's bring our feet back in. Same setup as bridge. Feet are hip width distance apart, close in towards the glutes. So this time you're going to flip your palms so that the hands are beside the ears. Fingertips are pointing towards the heels. Engage the shoulders as you lift your elbows up towards the ceiling. So strengthening through the pectorals. We're going to come up as if we were coming into bridge pose. So just press your feet into the ground, curl tailbone up, and lift the hips. So keep this, inner thighs hugging towards each other. Second step is to bring the crown of the head down on the mat. So lifting up. So once you have this, make sure the elbows and the knees aren't leaning over to the sides. Keep them squeezing in, and then power up the arms to lift up. And you're in wheel pose. So eventually we're trying to get our hands underneath the shoulders, walking it further in, but it really doesn't matter. For now, just work on pressing into the arms, pressing into the legs, softening the head or looking up if that feels better for you. Tailbone reaching to the heels. Take another breath. And then tuck your chin in towards the chest. Start to bend the elbows and lower to bridge pose until the hips come down on the mat. Widen the feet. Do a windshield wiper motion with the knees from side to side. Well done. So we'll just relieve the lower back here a little bit. Please cross your right ankle over the top of your left thigh. Press your right knee open, foot stays flexed, and draw your knee in towards the chest. Set your left foot back down on the mat. We'll come into a twist. Those really are the best poses to relieve lower back tension. Reach your arms out to the sides, and you're just going to need to lift your hips and shift them a couple inches to the right. Cross your right thigh over your left, and then both knees go left. Keep your right shoulder pressing down on the mat. Chest is facing up. Firm up the belly, uncross the legs, and lift back up. Recline pigeon on the second side. Cross your left ankle over the right thigh, and draw your right knee in towards the chest. Keep that left foot flexed to help protect the knee. Let's drop the right foot down. Arms out to the sides, lift your hips, and shift them over to the left. Cross your left thigh over your right, and then both knees will lower over towards the right side of your mat. Keep your left shoulder pressing down. Deep breaths into the belly. And let's lift the knees, uncross the legs, and take Shavasana, final resting pose. Get really comfortable, stretching out nice and long. Palms will face up towards the sky, shrugging the shoulders away from the ears. And just notice what your body feels like now, as opposed to when you first began your practice and stepped on your mat. What has changed? Does anything feel stronger? A little more open? Do you feel energy buzzing around in any parts of you? This is where I will leave you, so please stay here for a few more minutes. When you're ready to get up, do so slowly and mindfully. Thank you for doing this class with me. Please subscribe to my channel and like this video. It means a lot to me. Thanks again. Namaste.